Howdy y'all, Christi here with Little Salty Homesteader. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am here with your July monthly garden task list for North Texas. Now if you're somewhere else in Texas, most of this list is going to apply to you as well, so please stick around. Hopefully you'll get some useful information from this video. Now before I start listing off all the stuff that needs to be done or can be done in the month of July, I wanted to go ahead and quickly let you guys know the sources that I used to compile this list. Very first and foremost is this wonderful book right here, Neil Sperry's Lone Star Gardening. This is a must-have resource if you are gardening in Texas. It breaks down how to troubleshoot different issues that you're having within your garden, whether it's your trees, your lawn, your plants, whatever it may be. It also gives you the monthly task list. It gives you great ideas for plants that will survive pretty well within our hard to garden in conditions, and so much more. So pick this up because it is very handy and very useful. The second source that I use is Dallas Garden School. She lists out her monthly garden checklist on one blog within her page, and then she also has like vegetable planting schedules on a couple of different other blogs within her page. So I referenced those as well, and then my own seedtime.us account in order to come up with the remaining planting tasks on this list for this month. So without further ado, usually with my lists, I like to start off with a shopping list because to me that is the least fun part, so I want to get that out of the way early. It's pretty short, but there are some items that are pretty necessary if you're going to be growing a fall garden in Texas, which I highly suggest that you do. So first of all, you're going to want to go ahead and pick up those fall seeds. Some local stores may have some seeds that you can go grab, but you can also go online. Hoss Tools, Johnny Slick Seeds, Baker Creek, Row 7 Seeds has some really unique varieties. There's a Botanical Interest. There's a lot of really great online resources that will get you your seeds relatively quickly. Also, pick up any soil amendments that you might need. Fertilizers, blood meal, bone meal, anything that you might have to purchase to fill a very specific soil deficiency. And then compost and mulch if needed. Like in my raised beds, I use straw mulch. So once I start topping that stuff off with compost, I'm gonna need to get some more straw mulch to go ahead and apply it over the top. No big deal, the straw breaks down, contributes to overall soil health, so that's why I do it that way. You could also just kind of peel it off, apply the compost, and then put it back, but because I'm adding to the soil health over time as that straw breaks down, and straw is relatively inexpensive, that's the method that I go with. Now on to the most fun part of gardening, and that is the planting tasks. So there's actually a lot of stuff that you can plant in the month of July to boost your food supply and help you get, you know, some food in your pantry, in your refrigerator, and in your bellies. Early in the month, you can direct sow small melons and winter squash. Now keep in mind, those are going to be vining plants, so you're either going to need a lot of space for them or you're going to need some sort of trellis or climbing structure for them to grow on. Other items that you can plant until the end of the month include black-eyed peas, southern peas, okra. Pumpkin is actually closer to the middle of the month, but also corn, cucumbers, pole beans, and zucchini. So if you guys have been battling squash bugs and squash vine borers, you can rip out your old plants and get new ones going. That's what a lot of people do if they have the space to do that, is they'll just plant zucchini, you know, a few weeks apart in several locations to just kind of beat the bugs and ensure they get something harvested. Now for your fall garden, if you're going to be growing food into the fall and through the winter, some seeds that you can start indoors at the end of the month starting on July 25th includes broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, mustard greens, spinach, and Swiss chard. Now I am going to be growing all of those items, but I'm going to wait until August to get them started. If you are going to be planting out a fall run of tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, you're going to want to go ahead and get those transplanted into your gardens now. So hopefully you got them started in June. Now there's a lot of maintenance tasks that need to be done in the month of July, which is pretty terrible because July is so awfully hot, but the maintenance tasks tasks, will help ensure the health of your plants and their continued success and growth. So first of all, you want to make sure that you have some sort of water source for your birds. A lot of people will have a bird bath. If you're concerned about mosquitoes, you can put like a mosquito dunk within the water. Otherwise, it's so hot that the water is evaporating off very quickly, so you're just gonna kind of be filling it pretty frequently. The good thing about having that water source for the birds is if they have fresh water available, they're more likely to leave your tomatoes alone. Same thing with the squirrels. If you're having an issue with squirrels getting your tomatoes, it's because they're thirsty. So get some sort of bird bath or something out there with some water in it. Keep the water replenished, and hopefully you can sustain your tomatoes until you're able to harvest them for yourselves. Additionally, go ahead and prune any spent flowers, dead branches, diseased leaves, injured parts of your plants, all of that stuff. It will help divert the energy away from the icky parts of your plant so that the plant can focus on the healthy parts. You'll also want to prune the lower branches on your trees if they are casting too much shade or if they're impeding your walkways. I very recently just pruned our redbud trees that we have here because they were hitting me right about here, like in the face, and I couldn't really get through my yard without having to dodge and duck around trees. So I went ahead and I pruned those off. This is a great month to do that in, the month of July. Also, maintain your regular fertilizer schedule. As the temperatures are cranking up, because it is July, and July in Texas is very, very hot, you are watering more often, which will deplete the nutrients within your soil. So make sure you're maintaining that fertilizer schedule so that your plants continue to get enough nutrients to be able to continue to grow. Manage the pests as best you can. Aphids, squash bugs, squash vine borers, spider mites, flea beetles. There's so many different pests that we battle here in North Texas with our plants, not to mention grasshoppers. So just do your best to manage them, even though it is super hot outside. High pressure water hose, neem oil, BT, did I write it? And hand picking are all going to be effective methods for getting rid of those pests. And I suggest that you do them early in the morning or late in the evening to protect yourself from the heat of the day. And on the subject of protecting yourself from the heat of the day, I'm including this in a maintenance task because I don't want any of you guys to go out and get a heat stroke, because that is terrible and it takes a long time to recover from. So neck fans, I got one recently whenever I went to Logan's Boy Scout camp, and I gotta tell you, that thing was a lifesaver because we were outside in the heat all day long, and had I not had that, I would have been miserable. But because I did have it, it wasn't nearly as bad. So get a neck fan. The one I got was like $25 on Amazon. It's rechargeable. The battery lasts a long time before you have to charge it again. And I don't think I am ever going to live without a neck fan again. Also make sure you're drinking lots of water, especially on days when you know you're gonna be outside for a long time. Up that water intake. Also up that electrolyte intake, because as you sweat, you have to replenish those things. So my next tip for staying cool is something that I like to call chase the shade. So as you can see right now, I'm already kind of standing in the shade. I have the shade cloth over the tomatoes. That's where I'm going to be doing a lot of my gardening, is in the shade, because it's going to be much more comfortable than out in the blasted sun. Also, wear a hat. Wear a big floppy hat. You can look as silly as you want to in your garden because it's your garden. I'm not wearing one right now because I'm actually about to go into the office to go to work, and I didn't want hat head going to work. So, but the big floppy hat does help to protect you from the sun and the heat and all the ickiness that comes along with that. Additionally, garden whenever temps are most comfortable. Early in the morning, late in the evening. I have some friends who garden at night because that's the only time that it is not so awful to be outside in July in Texas. And last but not least, don't fret about letting things go. Sometimes your schedule just doesn't allow you to get out here in early morning or late evening. Sometimes it's hot even then. Like, I can very specifically remember times it was already 90 degrees at 8 a.m. You don't want to be gardening in that. So let things go. A wild garden still grows. So don't worry so much about trying to maintain a perfect space. worry about maintaining a healthy you. So that is kind of all I have for the staying cool portion of the maintenance tasks for the month of July. Other than that, install a shade cloth if necessary. Now, this is over 3 of my raised beds. I have 2 more raised beds along the fence. Those do not actually get a shade cloth. They have okra planted in them, which doesn't seem to suffer whenever it's 10,000 degrees. And additionally, they get shade until about 10:30 a.m. And then they get some sun until about 2:30 p.m. and then they get shade from this tree for pretty much the rest of the day. So I'm not too worried about those 2 raised beds getting overheated. These guys though get blasted pretty early on until the middle of the afternoon. So I wanted to go ahead and get the shade cloth put over those. I also have a shade cloth that I'm going to kind of stretch out across the patio to kind of help protect the hot peppers that I have up here and the strawberry plants. Hopefully it helps, you know, to keep them from getting so stressed from the heat, but I don't know. It's gonna be an experiment this year to see if that even helps. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on that. And the last thing, of course, is going to be the planting tasks for the month of July. If you have not already planned out your fall garden and you are for sure wanting to grow one, sit down today or tomorrow, go ahead and get that done, because a lot of fall garden plants get started this month. The rest of them really ramp up in the month of August, so you want to make sure you have that plan ready. Know what plants you're going to plant and know when you're going to plant them. My next video that I have coming out is going to be a full detailed list of everything that I'm going to be growing in my fall garden and when I'm going to be getting it started. But that's all I have for this month's North Texas monthly garden checklist, the month of July. If you like this video and you want to see future monthly garden checklists, please like, subscribe, comment, do all those different YouTube-y things. Otherwise, until next time, go find a way to get those garden manicures.